Hey guys, it's Barrett from the Gimpy Camper. We're here today at Lake Guntersville State Park, which is in Guntersville, Alabama. For those of you that don't know, it's about an hour southeast of Huntsville, Alabama. And I gotta tell you guys, this is probably one of my #1 favorite campsites that I've been to ever, period. Now, the campsite itself's not that great. Right here, we didn't reserve this till about a month ago, so we were kind of late getting on the reservation list. In this area back here where we are, we're at site C29, and it's a little, it's not really made for campers. The guy at the guard shack said, I don't know if you'll be able to fit a fifth wheel in there. Granted, our fifth wheel's pretty short, so we didn't really have a problem there. But, as you can tell, it's not the most level in the world because it's built on a mound there. And so our front steps have a little bit of a slope. It's not that bad. The issue that we've had this weekend is rain. Hurricane Delta came up through Louisiana and we've been getting rain all weekend for that. Finally got a spot where it's cleared out a little bit. We're definitely going to have to come back here and check this place out when the sun's shining. Unfortunately, it's not been in our cards this visit. Now, I will tell you, as far as cell service, it's been pretty good actually. We've been getting 2 to 3 bars pretty consistently for Verizon, 4G LTE of course. And the only issue that we've had is every now and then we'll go down to 1 bar and things won't pick up too well. But for the most part, everything's been great. I will say there are tons of activities around this place to do. There's a beach, I was surprised they even have a splash pad over here next to the playground. In the summertime, one of those things where it's got the different fountains and, water falling from the buckets that are hanging up and all that stuff. And that looks to be pretty awesome, especially if you have younger kids. But all these sites that are behind me on the other side of that hill down by the lake, they are awesome. Awesome. They have a pavilion out there at the beach, so there's picnic tables, all that stuff that are covered. And that way in the summertime, you can get a little bit of shade while you're relaxing down there. They have 2 boat ramps here. They have one of them, it's called the Trail of Tears area. They're actually working on that. They're making a whole new dock down there. It appears to be, pretty good sized project they're taking on. And the other boat ramp that they have that's next to the beach area, it's a pretty wide concrete, nice boat ramp. They do have more public docks here than I've ever seen any campsite we've ever went to. I'm assuming they're public use. I mean, I know that people are going out and fishing on them or whatever. There's not that many boats around. Granted, it is, toward the middle of October here. And so the water's down a little bit, but I think that in the summertime, I would assume that, you can just park your boat at a lot of these. I think there's 4 different boat docks down through here. Right in the middle of the campground, they have a large playground area. They have volleyball set up. I think there's a basketball court down there. They have all kinds of stuff. Of course, the playground for the youngins. Guys, what makes my videos different than a lot of campground reviews that you watch is I try to give you the specific sites that I would recommend to stay on. So these are the sites that I've always kept in my personal list for if I ever go back there, this is where I'm going to stay. And so I'm going to let you in on that information with this campground too. We're going to start with just some general information about the different loops of the campground. It appears that this campground started off as a decently smaller campground and then kept getting larger and larger. And so like loop A, which you would usually see as the premier loop or whatever in a lot of campgrounds, it's kind of more back in the middle of the campground because it looks like it's just further expanded, okay? So I will tell you, as far as the loops, D, E, and G loops are all the ones that are closer to the water. That's the ones that I would try to stay on. Personally, some of the areas are a little cramped down there though, but personally, I don't find it horrible at any of them, but it is pretty close together. So if you don't like that, you might want to stay somewhere else, but I'm telling you, you got plenty of room if you're on the end that's right next to the water. So make those reservations in advance. Try to get right down on the water. Also, a lot of those sites that are on those loops that are down at the water, appear to be full hookup, sewers and all, okay? Now, I like this campground the way it's set up better than Stone Mountain in Atlanta. Yeah, that's right. Big, high price, expensive campground because they set it up better. I've told you a lot that Stone Mountain could have been great, but a lot of their sites are a really beautiful lake right beside your campsite, but it's behind your back door of your camper. So that awning space where you sit out and you enjoy, your camping activities, you're looking at the road. Here, not all of them are like that. Some of them are like that, but not all of them. So a lot of them, you sit out there. There is a road between you and the lake, but you're sitting out there. There's no like neighbors right on that side. Under your awning, watching the beautiful lake, the boats go by, kids playing in the water, all that stuff. While we're on the subject of those loops that are down by the water, I'm going to give you the sites that I would recommend staying at. And like I say, any of the ones on the end are going to be great, but these in particularly are the ones that I mentioned that actually face the water, okay? So the first one's going to be E34, then G36, G13, E11, E35, and D7. Now D7, I will say, is a pretty short site, so you didn't want to pop up or something if you were going to stay there. But all those sites are listed in the order that I would recommend them, not the numerical order. So I think that E34 is the best, and so I would stick with that one if it's available. Also worth mentioning is that if you're insisting on having a pull-through site, there are a few different areas where there are pull-through sites in this campground, but I would recommend sites D1 through D4. They seem to have the most space. There's some pull-through back in the B loop, which we'll get to in a minute, but D1 through D4 seem to have the most space. They're long sites, they're pull-through sites, and they have, it's not a huge amount of like space between the sites, but it's 10, 15 feet or so in most areas that I saw. And this is going to be a picture of one right here. So next I'm going to cover the B loop. The B loop seems to be more set towards seasonal sites. Is what it appeared to be just by walking through there. I don't know for sure. There are some empty sites back there. A lot of them are pull-through sites, but they're teeny tiny, no elbow space in there whatsoever. So I would avoid that area if you could. The one bright side to it is there are more shade trees back there. Then as far as loops A and C, both of those seem to be kind of in the middle of the campground. That's where I'm at right here, C. In a lot of these, the issue is that it's built on hilly areas. They are smaller sites. I don't think any of these have sewer. But the issue with them is the hills and the length of the site. And so it's not a bad site, but it's just not level. They all have fire rings, which aren't your typical steel fire rings. They have rocks stacked around in a circle, like the good old days here. Of course, you guys know that I usually bring the Solo Stove bonfire. I did a review on that a couple of weeks ago again. It's going to be right up here in the corner if you want to check it out. So guys, the sunshine's finally starting to peek out. I'm going to go enjoy this place a little bit in between the rain. If you get a chance, I would definitely come down here and check it out because it seems to be a great area. I'll probably have to come back when there's more sunshine, perhaps when we can utilize this lake that's back there. But I seem to really enjoy this campsite, and so we will definitely be back in the future. Thanks for sticking around and watching the video. If you enjoy our videos, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.